not long ago, a horrific video of a 5-year-old boy being sexually abused in the worst way was discovered by U.S. authorities. The boy was 5, and his 12-year-old sister. They had been kidnapped and they had been trafficked back and forth between the U.S. and Mexico. Both were sex slaves to a monster of a man. Well, something happened. Divine providence stepped in, and it took place at the U.S.-Mexico border. The boy was seen by a U.S. official who knew who he was, identified the boy in the video, and the boy was rescued from the monster. The monster is going to spend the rest of his life in prison. But a friend of mine, who I didn't know what he did for a living, he had a whole front story. I had no idea. He told me one day, I need to meet with you. And so I met with him, and he told me what he really did. He's an undercover operative who infiltrates and dismantles child trafficking rings. He was one of the first on the scenes with that 5-year-old boy. That little boy jumped into the arms of my friend, who tearfully held him, told him he was safe. The kid would not let go, fearful that he's going to fall back into the dark hands of that monster again. It took a while, but after he realized he was safe, he gave my friend a gift. It's a gift of a necklace. It's this necklace. It reads, "Man of God, pursue godliness, faith, and love." That necklace meant everything to the child. It represented his only hope. It was given to him by his sister, his last prayer. His older sister gave it to him and said, "Wear it and pray that God will rescue us." Their united prayer was answered at last, and they passed that prayer on to my friend, who told me tearfully, "I can't stop, Glenn. How do I stop? How do I know we can rescue more people." He was wearing this necklace as a reminder of what the story represents, the most cruel form of slavery that has ever existed. Yes, slavery still exists, and what's worse, it is the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world. And it's not happening in some distant land. It's happening here, in your own neighborhood. Nearly 2 million children are exploited every single year. The global commercial sex trade is number one, and it is growing. Thousands are smuggled into the United States and forced into sex slavery every year in our own towns. Meanwhile, our children are smuggled out. Human trafficking is a $32 billion a year business. This is why my friend needed the necklace. This is why he needed the prayer of hope that somehow, some way, this dark form of modern-day slavery might be eradicated. Why are we talking about slavery that happened 150 years ago? There is a huge problem that exists right now, and here's the cherry on top. The governments of the world cannot remedy this plague. They can't do it. At least they can't do it alone. Despite our best efforts, there is the bureaucracy, there is apathy, there is mismanaged budgets, government shutdowns are always blamed. Whatever it is, the rescue operations don't happen. And those are the weak excuses. There are the jurisdictional restraints. The U.S. government and other developed nations that have the tools necessary sometimes can't intervene into the infected nations to rescue the kids because they don't have jurisdiction. And too often, they don't have the will to help. That's the tragic thing. The infected nations rarely have the tools and the resources necessary to get the job done, so hundreds of thousands of children are forced to remain in shackles. When my first daughter was born, Mary, I begged God, "Please give it to me." I knew he wouldn't. She has cerebral palsy, but I said, "If you just help her, I will do whatever I can to help children. I know how God feels about children." I made a promise that was a little reminiscent of another promise made by a young Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, the first time he went to a slave market, he looked at his young companion and he said, "Boy, let's get away from this. And if ever I get a chance to hit that thing, I'm going to hit it hard." Well, when I first heard about my friend and what he does, I thought, how can I hit that hard? I think we...
Hi, I'm Jody Bell, and this is Meghan Degelder. Operation Underground Railroad is an organization that helps free children from sex slavery.
This organization is run by the United States federal government. However, they cannot do it on their own. The United States government are held back largely due to jurisdictional limitations and bureaucracy. Many of the children that are rescued by this organization are outside the U.S. jurisdiction and are often kidnapped and abused in areas where there aren't many resources to save them.
Hi, my name's Monika Bielak and this is Sarah Bertrand. This problem of sex slavery has been known to the world for a long time, and this group of professional CIA agents and Navy SEALs decided to take innovative action many years ago. One of the ways that the children are rescued from these sex brokers is that the professionals go and attend the sex ring parties and pose as rich Americans looking to purchase these children. This involves the help of private software and data mining companies who are able to locate child trafficking organizations.
When the money exchanges hands, the other undercover agents then drop out of the ceiling, rescue the children, and the offenders are incarcerated. They spend much time reviewing who they are working with so they can also capture other people involved. The process does not end there, though. The organization is involved in providing these children with rehabilitation process at safe havens so they are able to reintegrate back into society. Here, the children receive individual counseling and group counseling from the professional therapists to help them cope with their traumatic experiences. The organization stays with the children through the entire process to make sure that they have a safe return.